All right, I think we are getting ready to go here. I'm just going to be doing some checking on some of our different things here. I apologize, I got to just check our sound because I know we've had interference in the past, so I appreciate you guys for being patient. A lot of different things going on today. So many games. I'm so happy.
I almost forgot to tell you about Wix's multi-cloud hosting, DDoS protection, zero maintenance for users with zero downtime.
I apologize if you guys.
Our poolside quesadillas smack you right in the taste buds. Filled with grilled chicken, cilantro, and salsa verde, or black beans and roasted tomato salsa. It's no wonder they're getting 5-star reviews. You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Would greatly appreciate.
Make sure you guys give You're on Tropic Time now. At Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Would greatly appreciate.
Make sure you guys give.
Huh. Weird. I don't know what's open, but I'm going to check her out real quick. Something's open that's giving me sound, and I don't know what. Probably should. I try. This is the only time that we can really go out and do this, so I appreciate you guys.
You're on Tropic Time now.
For being patient. So, but yeah, a lot of NFL games going on today. I'm excited for it. I think there's a lot of specific rookies and a lot of players that I think we could be happy to take a look at in just a second. But, you know, like we said, there's going to be a lot of different games going on here, a lot of different things. And I think, honestly, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be there we go. Huh, that's weird. Okay. Sorry, always got to check the sound. Let us know what you guys find also in the chat down below as we get rolling here, because I know there's a lot of different things going on today. So appreciate you guys' patience as we got rolling here. So today, like I said, we're talking about, there's like 5 different games going on today, and we wanted to make sure that we brought you all of the latest news, all of the latest stuff coming straight from us today, because there's quite a bit. There is actually quite a bit today when we talk about the idea that preseason is here. Like, NFL preseason is here, and there's so many different things going on in terms of these games. So, so we start with the Cleveland Browns versus or at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Excuse me. I would venture to say this is one of those games that I might be most excited for. Like, when you talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars, you know, Cal Slater got cut, but Trevor Lawrence is going to play at least a couple series, quote, from what I had read. So, you know, I think this is going to be a big-time thing going ahead for specifically Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, specifically where they can find where some of their players are, and really their offense, if we're being real. So I think as we move forward here, I'm truly excited because there is so much different things and questions I have about the Jaguars. So I appreciate you guys for watching today again. So once again, if you guys have the time, make sure you guys also leave a little something down in the chat. We'd greatly appreciate it. If maybe it's something whether it's you want to make a donation, or if you guys also are looking out for something specific in light of today's game. So like I said, excited is an understatement. Excited is truly definitely an understatement when we talk about all the different things kind of going on today, because, you know, like we said, we looked at Travon Walker last week. We looked at a lot of the different things going on there. And if I'm being honest, I really feel like this is one of those things where, you know, there's so many different things going on in all these different games that you have to take a look at everything. And we would not be bringing you all the latest NFL stuff if we didn't. So, you know, Travon Walker, you know, I got to be honest with you. I was hoping to see a little bit more out of Chad Muma. Because it's rough. You know, against the Raiders, people might say he got trucked against Zamir White, but I don't know if I'm ready to go that far. I would just say that, you know, there's a lot of different things going on today, and I'm really excited about it. So, hey, by the way, did I tell you guys I'm excited about it? Although I'll stop saying that sometime soon today. But overall, when we consider the fact of the 5 different games today, you know, we have to make sure that, you know, we talk about also yesterday's game, though that video will be up later. So we appreciate you guys for being patient. So as it pertains to the Jaguars and the Browns game today, there's a couple different things I'm looking out for. Number one, I believe it starts all with the rookies and Trevor Lawrence. So it starts with Trevor Lawrence. What can we expect from the second year? What was it? Through something like 12 touchdown passes and 17 interceptions. You know, there was some good things to work with. There really was. Also, you know, I'm excited to see whenever that opportunity does. I want to see what we get out of Travis Etienne. You know, Christian Kirk. There's a chance I believe he might play tonight. So, you know, I'm excited to see some of these Jaguars starters play and really get a deeper look at what this first team NFL offense will look like for the Jaguars, because there's a lot to like moving forward. So You talk about also that offensive line. Luke Fortner coming up. I thought, honestly, Luke Fortner might be one of the guys that I'm most excited for in terms of what he could do because, and really the offensive line for the Jaguars, it's not even really about just the idea that he's going to come in and potentially start at center. I think that there's a lot more that goes into specifically how he will impact the Jaguars and do a lot of different things. So, again, this offensive line, it was kind of a big issue for a guy like Trevor Lawrence last year, but overall, I think that this is something that you want to make sure that you all are paying attention to because it's these little things. It's these little things, specifically how these the offensive line looks, who's in at right guard, who got a series, and for the most part, we got kind of an idea. We got kind of an idea who's going to be there. Cam Robinson, Tyler Shatley, even though I think Ben Bart should start, but we'll just have to see how that all goes out. But Luke Fortner, Brandon Scherf, and Juwan Taylor looks like it's the starting offensive line for now. But don't count out Ben Barch. He's a stud. Played against him in college. Yeah, this dude definitely deserves some respect. So, I think also you have to really take into consideration here. Obviously, we talked about him a little bit earlier, but Travon Walker is a player that kind of showed out in the Hall of Fame game. Low-key had that sack and was able to kind of keep going there. And, I'm excited for, a guy like Travon Walker. I think he's got a lot of the tools that you really want to see from a guy that really does have it all. He's put a little bit of outside. I think you could drop him back into coverage. I think you can have him play stand-up, whatever you'd like him to do. He can certainly do it. So, and I also think that to a certain degree, you really need to take a serious look at the rest of that defensive line because, honestly, the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line is kind of stacked. Like, Fullerunso Fatakusi, I've had a crush on him ever since he came out. I felt like this defensive line specifically, it was UConn. That's right. Nobody takes those sixth round picks out of UConn seriously, but, even Shamar Stephen for the Vikings and Fatakusi out of UConn as well. Devon Hamilton, Roy Robertson Harris, who was a stud with the Bears, Dwayne Smoot. This defensive line is low-key a little bit underrated, and I'm glad I get to shed a light on it today. So, but also you got your edge rushers, Josh Allen and Travon Walker there as well. And we'd be lying. We would be absolutely lying if Arden Key did not show out a little bit. Had a couple of sacks in the Hall of Fame game against the Raiders. And honestly, some of that was set up by Travon Walker. So I'm excited to see how that kind of comes ahead in game 2. So also Andre Sisco played well. Got Tyson Campbell, all those guys coming in a young secondary. So a lot of things going for the Jaguars for this game. Now, going over to the Browns, Deshaun Watson is going to start. I have my thoughts. I'm excited for it, but at the same time, I don't know how to feel, if I'm being perfectly honest, because you talk about your fan experience. You want to be everybody to be happy. There's no politics involved in it, but at the end of the day, that's just not how it is these days. But overall, this is going to be a very interesting game for a lot of different reasons. And I think as we continue to go through the preseason, we're going to see specifically how the Browns look and how the Jaguars look. But overall, the Browns, Martin Emerson, by the way, has been balling out. Nobody's been talking about Emerson specifically at that corner spot coming up out of Mississippi State as well. I'm also excited to see how Alex Wright, the defensive end coming out of UAB, and then Perion Winfrey might be my biggest draft crush in the 2022 NFL Draft. If you watched him at the Senior Bowl, just an overall stud, just an absolute stud. So, there's rookies to watch for the Browns, and there's players to watch other than Deshaun Watson. So, overall, I think that what it does come down to is the fact that, you're watching rookies, yes, but you're watching a lot of these other guys that are making a name for themselves, that are trying to find a way to get onto an active roster. So, there's a lot of things going on in these games today that you really want to make sure you're keeping an eye out for. So, and again, I hope to really shed a light on. So, Deshaun Watson will play a little bit. I also do think that when you look at all the different things that the Browns have been able to do in just keeping talent, but also acquiring talent, like they've been doing a tremendous job. Honestly, I would say that up with the Bills, they probably have the best roster in football. So, other than the Bills, excuse me. So there's a lot going on in that regard as well. And then, as far as the rookies, like I said, I don't think that there is. I don't think there's a player I'm more excited about in terms of Perion Winfrey, but again, I do think what it does come down to is the fact that we have to make sure, we are staying grounded and remembering the fact that, hey, they've got guys like Cade York, the kicker coming out of LSU, Jerome Ford, the running back. There's a lot of other rookies that I'm excited to see in today's game. So, which, by the way, I believe it starts at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. So make sure you guys check that, as well as David Bell, the wide receiver coming up. I'm excited for him. But even though I know that the Browns did unfortunately lose, their punt returner, I'm blanking on it. And he was a stud. Oh man, it was a torn Achilles, I believe. Placed him in IR the other day. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, and when you talk about a team that has this much talent, and then the fact that they have the best roster, or arguably the best roster, put on ice, like this is such. I can't collect my thoughts. Hold on, I'm gonna get a cup of coffee. I'm sorry. I can't think of it. It was Jerome something. I'm sorry. The punt returner. The Jakeem Grant. Good Lord help me. I apologize. So Jakeem Grant placed on IR the other day. But I do think the Browns probably have the most questions in terms of whether it's going to be Deshaun Watson or what's going to go on in that regard. So there's, like I said, there's things going on in today's game that I'm going to be watching out for. Deshaun Watson, how does he look rusty? Does he look good? There's a lot of things going on. So, as we move over into the second game here, we're going to be talking specifically about how the Packers will go into play the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the 49ers, they are one of those teams that, honestly, they had some dudes show up throughout the offseason that I think, honestly, aren't getting enough love. And that's a big reason why we do these things, to be able to shed a light on that. But we'll start with the Packers today. Obviously get Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt both coming up out of Georgia. National champions, a defense that's going to be tough to stop. Absolutely tough to stop. So, you start by getting those two guys defensively that I think will be able to do some major things for your defense. And that's the thing. People talk about Aaron Rodgers and the fact, wide receivers, it's something you question. No doubt, absolutely. But at the same time, there is an inherent responsibility in my mind to remember the fact that this defense has the potential to be top 10. No doubt in my mind, it could very well be a top 10 type unit, maybe even top 5, to be honest with you, because the Packers are in a position where they have, these rookie wide receivers coming in, into Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs, by the way, has been really balling out in camp lately. So, I think when you talk about the Packers, when you talk about what they're going to do today, there's a lot of excitement. But overall, I do think that you really need to take a serious look. And I think Romeo Doubs could be a pleasant surprise, as well as Christian Watson. Like we've seen, wide receivers that just come alive because of their quarterbacks, whether it's Patrick Mahomes or whatever. But it's almost like the Packers have a back-to-back MVP. I can't remember his name. Oh, yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, let's be real here. So, I'm excited. Obviously, he's probably not going to play today, which I get. But at the same time, you're going to get a look at some of these rookie wide receivers, some of these rookie players, and Devontae Wyatt and Quay Walker as well. So I'm excited for that. And then also Sean Ryan, the tackle guard coming up at UCLA, another guy I'm keeping an eye on. Zach Tom coming up out of Wake Forest. Kingsley Onagbari. How do you get one of the best pass rushers in the entire draft in the 5th round? It's mind-boggling. It's frustrating to a degree. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I like I said, I think at the end of the day, you're gonna see the Packers defense really come alive this year, and I think that they've certainly got some weapons to do it with. So and then we move over to the San Francisco 49ers. Man, they're going to Trey Lance. I could not be more excited for the 49ers. I do feel like it is going to be one of those things where the 49ers, they're gonna, there's always going to be the question of Jimmy Garoppolo and everything, and I understand that. But at the same time, the Trey Lance brings such a different element to this offense that it's going to be deadly. So I do think that this is going to be something fun to watch, and that they are absolutely going to be a team moving forward, especially with Trey Lance and all the different things that he can do. I think they're going to be a better team. Trey Lance does so many different things to this offense, and what he can provide for him. So, and then we also talk about the draft picks for the 49ers, Drake Jackson, the edge rusher coming up out of USC. I think he's going to be a player that might not get a lot of run to start things out with, but he will be interesting to follow as the season goes along. Nick Bosa, Samson Ebukam, Robert Kimdichie, Javon Kinlaw. Yes, they've got edge rushers out the wazoo, but Nick Bosa is going to be a guy that he might take a big step forward. I love me some Nick Bosa. He's a stud. But this defense is serious in everything that it does, and I think Drake Jackson is at least going to provide a lot of good things for that defense moving on. Then also Tyrion Davis-Price, the running back coming up out of LSU, Danny Gray, the wide receiver coming out of SMU, and then Spencer Burford Burford, out of UTSA. So there's a lot of guys I'm excited for, and also Tariq Castro-Fields, the corner out of Penn State, and Brock Purdy. So, yes, they're rolling with Trey Lance, but I would like to see what they get out of Purdy. That's what the preseason is for, because again, it's Trey Lance right now, but you also got Nate Sudfeld, Brock Purdy as well. So I mean, it's not just because he's pretty. Okay, tough crowd. But overall, this is going to be really interesting when you talk about all the different quarterbacks that the 49ers do have. And I do think that you're going to see some good things out of them as they move forward here. And like I said, Trey Lance is that guy for me. I just love Trey Lance. I think he's going to continue to be a player for the 49ers. But like I said, as we go through these, let us know if there's any other things you guys are keeping an eye on, or anything else you guys are watching out for. I'm specifically, you're probably not going to see players like Elijah Mitchell, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. If you do see those starters, like if the starters do actually play, I'm really going to be interested to see how everything flows with Trey Lance, and maybe they'll put in Jimmy Garoppolo as well to see how it does ebb and flow. But overall, like I said, and I'll say it again for the people in the back, Trey Lance gives this team another thing and another element to their offense, and I think that it would be foolish not to give him a serious look, especially as the regular season rolls around. So yes, great defense. Trey Lance potentially taking this offense to the next level, definitely going to be something that I am watching out for. Then as we go over to the next game here, I do think that, again, there's like 5 different games today. And so that's the next game we're talking about is the Jets versus the Eagles, or Jets at the Eagles. So the Jets might have a chance to make the playoffs. Like that's an absolute possibility when you consider the fact, you get Sauce Gardner at 4. Zach Wilson's interesting. We'll put it that way. I think he's going to be a really fun player in the NFL. You got Garrett Wilson at 10 as well. You got him help on the outside. I think you've finally got that offensive line figured out. And again, I know we broke the news yesterday, or we didn't break it, but we talked about how they signed Dwayne Brown, the All-Pro tackle, in free agency, a 2-year, $22 million deal. So again, I finally I think they've got their offensive line figured out. Garrett Wilson coming in. Also, they got Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher, who might be doing something special this year, by the way. And then you got the best running back in the 2022 NFL draft in Breece Hall as well. So they've got some guys. They had a tremendous draft class this year. And I think that they did a lot in free agency as well to bring in some guys that could do some things as well. So the Jets, like I said, have a legitimate shot to be a playoff team, with those weapons. Now with the right quarterback, whether that's Zach Wilson or Joe Flacco, we'll have to see. But you got running backs like Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Tevin Coleman, Ty Johnson. I really like that backfield. And you got wide receivers Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Braxton Berrios as well. And then tight ends, like the Jets might have the best tight ends in the NFL. You talk about having C.J. Uzomah, Tyler Conklin, Jeremy Rucker. Overall, there is just so many weapons going around for who's ever going to play quarterback. I don't care. They've got a good offensive line. The question is, can they take that next step? And then this defense as well. Quinnen Williams. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for him to hit like I think he can hit. I think that there's still yet another level that he can play at. So I'm excited to see how he does continue to move forward and continue to progress. I think, what is this, year 3, year 4? So there's a lot to like about Quinnen Williams overall as well. And then obviously we also talk about C.J. Mosley, Sauce Gardner, like we talked about. This secondary I think could also be pretty good as well. So like I said, overall the Jets are in a good spot, specifically on the offense and like on both sides of the football. I think they've got a chance to really do some damage this year because not only are they a team that has the talent, it is a question of coaching, it is a question of how far Zach Wilson will take them, but I am really excited about it nonetheless. Then you go over to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, they had the most interesting and probably the best draft. You talk about getting Jordan Davis, defensive tackle, coming out of Georgia. Like, he was, in my mind, last year he was like a 2nd or 3rd round pick based on his ability to stop the run, but then absolutely came out this last year and just dominated. He was in the running for the Heisman Trophy as a defensive tackle. What's that tell you? That means he's a stud. And I know there's that meme of going around of him basically walking back backup center, or maybe it was Cam Jurgens. I can't remember who it was, but just walking back the a center in training camp, and it's just like, you would hate to be on that highlight tape. But Jordan Davis, definitely a big-time stud. You also get Cam Jurgens, the backup center for now. He's going to be a starter. And actually, Jurgens and Davis both went at it in camp earlier, and they both, I think, actually, Jurgens won the first go-around. So, that's going to be a really fun matchup to watch as time goes on. Those two guys going at it in the trenches as well. So then, yes, Jalen Hurts is going to be another player that you're like, okay, we'll see what he can do. Also, Nakobe Dean in the 3rd round. Are you kidding me? I'll never get over it. But, they finally got somewhat of a running game. Gardner Minshew has not had a very strong camp from what I've seen. And yes, you got guys like, Reed Sinnett as well as Carson Strong back there. But, it's the quarterback position for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a little bit sketch, if we're being honest. Like, if Jalen Hurts can play up to his level, they'll be fine. But Devonta Smith, Quiz Watkins, as well as Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown, like, they have the weapons. Like, that's never been a problem for the Eagles. They've got, I think, a respectable offensive line to get it done as well. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. But, and then defensively, they've got some guys as well. Jordan Davis needs to start day one. I don't care. Put him in. Put him on the field. Don't care what happens. But put Jordan Davis on the field. Make Fletcher Cox the backup, because Jordan Davis is too good to take off the field. And if you do start Fletcher Cox, find a way to get Jordan Davis on the field, because I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch as the time goes by. Because, again, he's big. He uses his hands well. He takes up double teams very well, and he adds a lot in that pass rush, which is it's not common to see that out of defensive tackles. It's really not. So as we move forward here throughout the preseason, I do think he's going to be a name to watch, because he is going to get on the field sooner or later. When he does, it's going to be dangerous. It's going to be absolutely dangerous. As we head forward here into our next game, we're talking about the Bengals and all the different things going on with their team. They are, honestly, the Bengals might be a team that does make it back. I do have my reservations. But I do think overall that we need to take a serious look, when we talk about the rookies and everything going on, as well as the Cardinals who are playing in the preseason game this year, or who are playing the Bengals in the preseason game this year as well. So we will go to the Bengals and the Cardinals game real quick. I don't know why it's not pulling up. There we go. Okay, so Bengals and Cardinals today. Overall, I'm excited. I do think that this is going to be one of those games where we probably might not see Joe Burrow, but it's going to be kind of fun nonetheless. Like, we can't tell me it's not, because there's going to be a lot of teams, kind of probably wishing they could have got a shot on him in the draft, but he is going to be a guy that he's going to keep continuing taking steps. I'm fixing my font there a little bit as I'm talking. If you guys can't notice, I'm not great at multitasking, so I do apologize. So I do think as we move forward here, the Bengals are going to be a team that really does see if they can repeat last year's success, getting back to the Super Bowl. And I do think that the Cardinals are, like, Kyler Murray. Can we please just get this guy some help? Kyler Murray, everybody makes the short jokes. Everybody makes the small hand jokes. Whatever it is, I don't care. I think Kyler Murray's a stud. I've always liked Kyler Murray. And I think, their draft class, Trey McBride, the tight end coming up out of Colorado State, I liked. I felt like he was a guy that did not get enough credit as the year wore on. So there needs to be a little bit of understanding for guys like Trey McBride. I think he only had one touchdown. What was it, his senior year out there at Colorado at CSU? But I don't care. He's a stud. He's going to get his shot to do something special as well. And then you talk about Cameron Thomas, the defensive end coming out of San Diego State. There's guys to watch for the Cardinals as well. So, and then Majai Sanders also. Let's be real. If we are taking a serious look at the Cardinals, you lose a guy like Chandler Jones. You needed some help on that edge class as well. Lasitis Smith is also a guard. I think that could make some noise, as well as Keontae Ingram. So, Jesse Luketa as well. Oh yeah, they got Marquise Hayes out of Oklahoma too. I forgot about that. So, I think as these games go on, you're going to see a lot of different rookies stepping up, and second and third year guys stepping up, and we're going to make sure that we bring you the latest in terms of who we think is doing a tremendous job for their respective teams. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned this is our football. His name is Franklin, but it's Frank for short. If you guys know your football brands, then you know Franklin's a brand, but his name is Frank. Just want to make sure that we introduce the new part of our show today. So yes, that's game 4 for the Bengals, the Cardinals at the Bengals. And we're going to continue here moving forward. So as we also take a look, I also want to kind of highlight the fact that, again, we might not see Joe Burrow. That's fine. But, they also have a guy by a name of Jake Browning. Oh, another NFL thing there. Turn that off, Colton. But Jake Browning, he might be the guy that I'm keeping an eye on the most, because the backup quarterback position is so important in today's NFL. And I think that he could be a guy that does shock. I mean, there was a point in time where he was a guy that people were taking a look at, and so I'm excited to see that. So then as we head to the Falcons versus the Lions here, the Falcons are a team, quite honestly, that with the right quarterback, they might make some noise. Like the Falcons have some dudes out there that are doing a lot of different things and doing them well. So, as far as the Falcons and how they're specifically looking, I think, the fact they got Drake London in the first round, Arnold Epiketti as well out coming off the edge, like 2 A+ draft picks to start things out with. Troy Anderson, from what I've seen, also has had a tougher time in camp, but he'll get a chance to be able to show what he can really do. So I'm not really that worried about it. And plus, he's also behind guys like Rashaan Evans and Deion Jones. So really not that worried about it. But you talk about the weaponry that the Falcons do have Cordero Patterson at running back. If you drafted that guy in fantasy last year, good for you, because I didn't think to do it, and it kind of came back to bite me. But overall, he's a lot of fun. He's definitely going to be another player that you want to make sure you take a flyer on. Probably in the later rounds of fantasy, you should probably be able to get him in like the 3rd or 4th round. And we'll also that's another thing we'll be bringing to you guys as some of our fantasy sleepers and players to keep an eye on. Spoiler, the running back Pacheco coming from the Chiefs, he's one of them. Wide receiver Drake London, yes, got in the first round. Brian Edwards and Kyle Pitts, like low-key, the Falcons got some weapons. I think that if they're able to put it together with Marcus Mariota or Desmond Ridder, whoever really does step up, I don't care. The offensive line is respectable in my mind as well. Desmond Ridder will be another guy we're keeping a look on. Rookie quarterback. Is he going to be the Atlanta Falcons starting quarterback moving forward? I don't know. Felipe Franks was a guy that I liked coming out last year as well. But overall, Desmond Ridder, that's the storyline here, folks, is how he is going to play in the preseason. Because I don't think it shouldn't take much for him to come out and do some things for the Falcons and potentially get a chance to start. So I think, like I said, it's going to be something to watch. But overall, he is a player that I do think could do some very special things, and potentially start. We'll see how soon he does start. But I do think it does come down to really, how comfortable the coaching staff is with putting a rookie quarterback on the field. And don't get me wrong. The preseason is so vastly important, it's not even funny. And so then we head over to the Lions here. They had, in my mind, one of the most interesting drafts. Like, how do you get the best edge rusher to fall to you at 1? Like, Aiden Hutchinson falls from 1 to 2, falls to you at 2. I'm just like, seriously, like... But Trevon Walker really did ball out for the Jaguars, so I get it. He really did a fantastic job there. Jamison Williams also, what was it, at 11? Like, just nasty. Those two guys, and then Josh Paschal, the defensive end coming up out of Kentucky. James Houston, the outside linebacker out of Jackson State, excuse me. I got the names mixed up. Kirby Joseph, I loved him coming out of Illinois, and I'm excited to see this draft class. But the Lions specifically, I feel like the Lions are going to be one of those teams that, that they will play for Dan Campbell. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know how good they are going to be this year. But I think here's the thing about the Lions. They've got a good offensive line. They got DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams as well. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a stud. He's going to get over 1,000 yards this year. DJ Chark, that 1-year, $10 million deal. Jamison Williams, who... I think he's probably going to be missing for the majority of the season, which is fine by me. You don't necessarily, fault him for that, tearing his ACL. I mean, it's kind of serious. So overall, I do think that he's got obviously he's got a valid excuse, but he's going to be a guy that you watch as the season goes on that you're excited for. So the offensive line, I'm not worried about for the Lions. Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, and then Vaitai at guard as well. I'm not even going to try. That name pronunciation, and then Penei Sewell as well as starting that right tackle. Like Penei Sewell, it took him a little bit to get going, but he's a bad man. He is an absolute bad man. So, and then obviously on defensively, Aiden Hutchinson probably should start right away, and I think he's going to do some big things for the Lions, who I believe will come out of a 4-3. So I'm interested to see how that will go with like an Aleem McNeil as well as Romeo Okwara and Michael Brockers, and then you got Derek Barnes. Alex Anzalone as well, who I'm like, I have mixed feelings about, so we'll have to see how that does all kind of come down. But even the secondary, you got Deshaun Elliott, Tracy Walker III, and Will Harris. Like, there's some guys I'm keeping an eye on. Jeff Okuda, is he going to be all right? Mike Hughes, the former Viking. There's going to be a lot. I'm going to be watching a lot of the secondary for the Lions and seeing how they do put things together. But like I said, there's a lot of different games, a lot of different players that I'm keeping an eye on, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Let us know what you guys think. Is there a player that you guys are keeping an eye out for? Is there a team that you guys are watching tonight? Because I know there's a lot of different teams. There's 5 different games, 10 different teams playing tonight. Even more tomorrow. We'll try to get as much out as we can for tomorrow as well. But let us know what you guys in the comment section, what you guys think about guys that are coming in and for games tonight. Let us know what games you guys are watching, players you're watching, and players you're excited for. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. We greatly appreciate all you guys. We love every single one of you. And but let us know what you guys think about our look at all of Friday's NFL preseason games.